On June 14, a conference in the framework of the Specialized International Science and Technology Center Day took place in Astana on the campus of Nazarbayev University. The event was held under the auspices of the Expo 2017 on the topic of energy and technology of the future. The organization has 9 country members: Armenia, Georgia, Japan, the Republic of Korea, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Norway, the United States, Kazakhstan, and the European Union. However, more than 200 representatives of state bodies, organizations, embassies, and ISTC partner organizations from 30 countries attended the meeting in Astana. Ronald Lemon, the representative of the US Department of Energy and the chairman of the governing board of the center, started the opening ceremony with his welcome speech.
The theme for our ISTC Day discussion is Future Energy and Technologies. But energy is only one of the many areas of science and technology of importance to the Science Center as it works to promote the health, prosperity, and security of all our citizens. The spirit of the renewed Science Center is true and equal partnership. The focus is on the priority needs of the member governments. The most powerful tool is the multidisciplinary, multinational science cooperation that advances each party's science and technology more quickly.
The Science and Technology Center, as it is today, is an intergovernmental organization fostering the establishment of business ties between scientists from member states, as well as the realization of scientific developments, the emergence of new opportunities, the launch of joint projects for science and business. Kazakhstan joined the international organization in 1995. In 2015, the agreement on the continuation of scientific center's activities and the relocation of its headquarters from Russia to Kazakhstan was signed in Astana.
But as we spoke with various parties, various candidates were put forward, but I think that the strongest candidate was clearly Kazakhstan. And then we had to decide, should we be in Almaty or should we be in Astana? It took a little while to look at the pros and cons. Both were very attractive for different reasons, but we chose Astana.
Another key event in the organization's activities is the presentation of its achievements in the framework of the Exposition and the International Expo 2017 exhibition. According to Mr. Lemon, the famous exhibition will be a driving force for technology development and international exchange of expertise in the areas of science and business. The hosting of such a large-scale event on the theme of energy of future, Kazakhstan, represented by the Ministry of Education and Science, goes along with the new plans for development of scientific research and following activities. The first principle, which is currently being introduced by the Ministry of Education and Science, is the introduction of the principles of transparent science. Today, all the procedures are transparent, including the budget for scientists. All the information is posted on our web portal. All inquiries are accepted online. The second principle, which we are introducing now in the area of science in Kazakhstan, is the principles of co-financing. Yesterday, we were discussing this issue on the management board. Essentially, the government is opting out of fully funding the science. For us, ISTC is another source of funding. In other words, we can financially support the projects funded by ISTC and vice versa. In its turn, ISTC can consider the projects funded by the Ministry of Education and Science. The most important principle of the policy of Kazakhstan's scientific development is international collaboration. Presently, 3 vectors of cooperation are defined: the United States of America, the European Union, and China. According to the Deputy Minister of Education and Science Aslanbek Amrin, all the directions of country's education policy go in line with goals of the Science and Technology Center. That is, since 1995, 200 projects worth $75 million United States dollars, which is about 5,000 scientists, were realized in the framework of collaboration with the organization.
We believe this is a great opportunity to announce the achievement of ISTC to numerous visitors and countries, which will join in agreement in the future, as well as to partners. We hope that the international innovative and technological cooperation through ISTC, whose base is now located in Kazakhstan, will rise to a new level. In addition to the fact that scientific achievement of ISTC project put forward solving global problems, they also developed the society of participating countries in such areas as health, environment, energy, agriculture, and many others contributing to population's welfare.
Meanwhile, the ISTC Pavilion is presented at the Expo 2017. Scientists and professors, as well as Nobel Prize laureates, showed their reports and presentations in the areas of sustainable development, global trends, and prospects for technology and energy system development in the world in the future. Mr. Ray Kwong Chung told about changes in the perception of eco-safe growth. Now we are facing serious challenge, and the challenge is that the energy we are using now causing ecological crisis, which is climate change, so we have to change that dynamics between energy, economy and ecology and turn it to the positive one. At the moment, the relationship between the ecology and the economy is negative one, and to change it to positive side by using green energy, we can stimulate dynamic growth and reduce the climate risk. This is a vision and the dream to realize. Dr. Ray Kwon Chung suggests two solutions for safe growth. First one is to change the physical structure of the economy, starting with principles of constructing buildings to the issues of transportation. The second solution is to change normative principles in favor of green economy, which entails the correction of main regulators, official standards, and the taxing system in the area of energy. That is, increasing prices for traditional fuels and decreasing tariffs for renewable sources of energy will lead humanity to positive results. If we take a long-term perspective, the price of renewable energy will go down and down, but it's a long-term rather than short-term, so if we continue at the moment it might be expensive. If we continue to invest in renewable energy, the price will go cheaper and cheaper, and later it will stimulate our economic growth. So this completely changes the way our economy is operating and the relationship between ecology, energy and economy. This is what I'm thinking. For a short term, it's true, there is original cost, that's why political leadership, public policy support, it cannot be done by the market, so if we will rely on the market, we cannot move on to the bright future. That's why the political leadership and Astana Energy Expo is very important. It will be pushed by the public sector and the government. The share of renewable energy sources is growing. However, sustainable development does not assume the rejection of traditional sources of energy, rather it assumes their rational use. In the several following decades, about 70% of people will be city dwellers, which means constantly growing demand for electricity. At the ISTC conference, the report on the development of atomic energy in the world and the prospects for its use was presented. The nuclear energy and the supply chain, everything from new reactors to materials and components labor, they build up by operators to recombination of the whole reactors. It is growing on the world stage because nuclear energy is growing. It is produced now $2.5 trillion in terms of supply chain. It continues to grow. We see nuclear energy integrated into processes of electric production. For the past years, the most landmark and ambitious projects with the use of atomic energy is the International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor. The ITER project's main goal is to collect the knowledge on the energy of fusion and create a whole industry. Officially, the project was launched in 2016. The signing of agreement on the project execution was preceded by years of work on the design of the thermonuclear reactor. The location of its construction is near Marseille in France. The construction of the thermonuclear reactor is planned to be finished by 2025. The project worth is estimated at 19 billion euros.
Fusion is energy that powers itself by the sun. This is what happens in the sky every second for billions of years. And for centuries, decades, scientists have tried to use this energy for the use of the mankind and having a lot of projects on the machine building that is one of the biggest ones, as we had already proved. Yes, we fuse energy, but it has not been yet available. This is why the ITER project has 35 nations come together to join the ITER to prove the feasibility of fusion power, that we have technology, we have material to make the next big step to use this power.
Despite the course of the world community for new clean energy, the rejection of traditional energy sources is unjustified. More than that, the atomic energy is not staying behind, rather it offers new solutions. At the Scientific Center conference, the issue of balance in the future energy system was discussed.
And that renewables will probably not cover it entirely, so there is still need for extra energy that could come from fossil, of course, but could also still, according to us, come from nuclear technology. And by building safer and smaller reactor types, there is a chance that you can deliver, for instance, a base load for an industry, for a process industry via
We are already diversifying our energy mix. Today, for example, we have 85% traditional, 15% renewable energy. But by 2040, for example, we will have around 30% renewable, 70% traditional fuel. That we are already in the process of diversifying our future energy.
The spectrum of issues of sustainable development is quite broad. Transportation technology entail a large layer of problems which is negatively affecting the environment. Dr. Shri Prakash, professor at the Energy and Resource Institute, presented his vision on the future sustainable technology in developing countries and told why the problem of transport development in the world is so acute. Transport is the second largest sector that uses energy and causes CO2 emissions, and this what is the main negative factor. Unfortunately, this is not going to decline. There is a very phenomenal that all the changing measures are undertaken by the developed countries. Today, the most ambitious project in the field of transportation is an ultra-fast Hyperloop train which will be launched in Dubai in 2021 and will be operating between Emirates. The idea of inventing this innovative transport type belongs to Elon Musk.
And back in Los Angeles, in our facilities in Nevada, we're building the fifth mode of transportation. Not a plane, not a car, not a bus, and not a boat. This is a completely new mode which will transform the way we move both people and goods. So as I mentioned in my talk, we build a tube where we remove the air from the tube to create a low pressure environment. We then send an autonomous pod using an electric motor to travel from point A to point B, direct to destination, so we never stop along the way. So very much as you take a train and you make many stops before you get to your final destination, we are completely direct to destination.
The planned transport speed will reach 1,200 kilometers per hour. In this way, humanity will save a lot of time, which was previously spent on long trips on train, air travels with transfers or time-consuming journeys by car. The days of traveling will be shortened to hours and minutes. According to representatives of the new type of transport, the realization of Hyperloop 1 project in Kazakhstan would shorten the distance between Astana and Almaty down to 21 minutes in the time dimension. The project is operating on the principle of a global network, therefore the developers have plans to broaden the geography of access to Hyperloop 1.
I believe in making the future happen now, and with Hyperloop we are making it a reality right now. So as we continue to grow, you ask about the future, the network will continue to expand. So when you think about will it extend the globe, that's going to take many years to occur. So we're going to have to build one, test it, and continue to expand that as we move. But that takes time to do that.
At the conference, Yasukuni Okubo, a technical advisor for Japan Space Systems company, presented his Challenges of Local Use of Renewable Energy Activating Local Economy in Japan report. The university professor in Tokyo, Atsushi Tsutsumi, presented on the paradigm shift in energy science and technology. Shigeo Katsu, the president of Nazarbayev University, Akira Nakanishi, the senior program manager at ISTC, Al-Sharif Nasser bin Nasser, the managing director of the Middle East Scientific Institute for Security, and others participated in the work of a one-day forum.
Oh, the ISTC has changed tremendously over the last 20 years. Originally, it was primarily in Russia, primarily dealing with nuclear scientists who had been involved in the Soviet weapons program. Over time, it expanded into different technologies, biology, chemistry, space.
The active program of the ISTC conference closed with a reception dedicated to the specialized day of the organization, where all the discussion participants and guests had an opportunity to have informal conversations and enjoy live music.